Nightclubs to reopen this Saturday. PICKids extends deadline and halfway house for mentally disabled. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Hari Zainuddin and this is TVS Nightline. Good news for entertainment seekers. Nightclubs will be back in business at full capacity beginning this Saturday. Now, this relaxation, of course, comes with certain restrictions, such as the wearing of face masks, except while dining, drinking, and dancing.
Among other restrictions released by the National Security Council today includes customers entering the premises must produce a negative COVID-19 RTK antigen test result done within the last 24 hours. Alternatively, operators can also carry out the test on customers at the entrances to premises. All premises must guarantee that all employees and customers have the MySejahtera app downloaded on their cell phones and that the MySJ Trace feature is turned on when they enter the venues. Operators must also ensure that workers and customers were classified as low risk on the app. The one-page guideline also required operators to ensure premises had appropriate ventilation based on guidelines set out by the Occupational Safety and Health Department.
Now, the deadline for the first dose appointments under the COVID-19 National Immunization Program for Children, or PICKids, has been extended to May 31st. Deputy Health Minister Dr. Noor Azmi said the matter was decided after taking into account the Hari Raya Aidilfitri celebration and public holidays that fell on the vaccination deadline, as well as the closure of vaccination centres, PPV.
Dr. Noor Azmi said the decision was also made to provide an opportunity for parents who still wish to obtain the COVID-19 vaccine for their children. Initially, the deadline for the first dose under PICKids was May 15, which falls on Wesak Day. However, Dr. Noor Azmi said while the deadline for PICKids has been extended, the final date to register and book a vaccination appointment through MySejahtera on May 8 remains. He further stressed that for parents who registered after May 8, no appointment link in MySejahtera would be provided. Meanwhile, he said from May 16 to 31st, the first dose of COVID-19 vaccine for children aged 5 to 12 will be administered at government health clinics on a walk-in basis. Dr. Noor Azmi reiterated that the vaccination at government clinics depended on the supply of vaccines available on a first-come, first-served basis. After May 31st, children aged 5 to 12 will no longer be offered free COVID-19 vaccinations under PICKids, and parents would have to pay for vaccination offered by private sectors. Dr. Noor Azmi added that the last directive does not apply to children who have reached the age of 5 on or after May 15.
It is high time for Sarawak to establish a halfway house to house those who are mentally disabled before they assimilate themselves back into the society. In order for that to materialize, Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing, Dato' Sri Fatimah Abdullah, proposed a collaborative effort between her ministry and the Ministry of Health to cover aspects of welfare and treatment.
I think it's high time for the two ministries, my ministry, who looks after the welfare, and Ministry of Health, who looks after the mental issue, to come together and discuss the way forward. Definitely, I think we need a place for them, a place with the proper facilities to not only look at the physical part, the physical aspect, but also look at the mental aspect, mental and emotional aspect of the individual concerned.
Fatima made the statement following the case of the mentally disabled youth who was bullied by a 24-year-old that went viral on social media recently. In regards to the victim, Fatima urges the family member to confirm his mental state via the Sentosa Hospital and undergo rehabilitation before he is discharged back to the community. To this, Fatima is aware of several family struggles in caring for a family member who is mentally disabled.
Much as they want to help their family members here, who, in terms of mental, because of their mental issues, the mental condition, they also do not know how to handle this, and so they need they need help actually. So this is where, as I said, we need to look into this. The two ministries have to look into this matter and come to a decision in terms of a proposal to the government on what is the way forward in order to help this group of people in our society and help at the same time their family members to help these individuals. Yeah.
Fatima hopes future meetings with MOH will see progression in resolving the pertaining issue.
But if it involves policy, either we will forward it to the cabinet, and then if there is a need to have more than a policy in terms of ordinance, then it has to go to the DUN.
Now, a total of 173 COVID-19 patients have fully recovered as of May 9 after being given the antiviral Paxlovid pill. Health Minister Khairy Jamaluddin said the drug had been administered to COVID-19 patients since April 15.
In a statement today, he said there were no side effects that have been recorded by the patients. Khairy said the Paxlovid medication had been supplied to 512 COVID-19 assessment centers and 78 government hospitals. He further stressed that the medication prioritizes high-risk COVID-19 patients who are experiencing light to mild symptoms. At the same time, he also said the ministry remained committed to improving the public's access to medicines to treat and prevent COVID-19 transmission in Malaysia. Meanwhile, the pills are recommended for COVID-19 patients aged 18 and above who are not in the high-risk category and do not require oxygen therapy.
Anyone who's ever been to a hospital knows that nurses are akin to everyday heroes. They get to know their patients intimately by caring for them physically and mentally, offering tough love and encouragement in spades. And they do this while also offering endless support and sympathy to families. Now, in conjunction with the International Nurses Day, we offered nurses to brag rights by sharing their ultimate career moment, the one experience that they will carry with them forever.
For a medical nurse, Arianti Ahmad, she jumps into action to help a woman give birth without prior knowledge of midwifery education. The woman at the time was inquiring about COVID-19 vaccine at a vaccination center, PPV, when her water broke unexpectedly.
Saya bertugas di PKRC, whereby attend satu case di mana patient tu is pregnant. And actually dia adalah first pregnancy, baru mengandung, and we kalau ikutkan dia kata due dia is still about another 2 weeks time. But then when I come untuk tengok, macam biasa kita nak ambil vital sign, dia complain perut dia keep on sakit, cramping on and off. And then saya tanya if ada any ada rasa macam air ketuban ke, ada or any blood spot. Dia kata tak ada, and I'm not feel rasa tak senang tau. Then I call up the doctor. Luckily kebetulan doktor pun tengah dawning, tak masuk tengok patient. And then when check, patient dalam contraction pain, nak bersalin. We all semua kelam kabut, call ambulance because our site jauh daripada main building untuk send patient pergi ke labor room. All the way kelam kabut nak send patient, sehingga kan doktor after masuk dalam ambulance tertinggal the nurses behind. And that is one of yang saya rasa pengalaman yang tak dapat dilupa because kami yang bertugas di PKRC at that time yang on duty mostly tak ada post basic untuk midwifery ataupun kebidanan. And syukur Alhamdulillah once arrived to the labour room, patient memang betul-betul in contraction pain, memang sudah apa kita panggil memang dalam tempoh memang hendak bersalin and dia selamat melahirkan bayi perempuan yang comel.
Meanwhile, Julie Chris-Marie said she always wanted to become a nurse because she wanted to give back to all the nurses before who cared for her bedridden grandma.
Yeah, I always wanted to be nurse since I was maybe 6 years old because I think my grandma is getting older and my grandpa, my fathers. During that time is actually a difficult time because my grandma is bedridden patient. That is how I see the nurses care for her, the urge of helping people.
At the same time, she hopes that everyone can give thanks to all nurses and the nursing profession for all that they do.
Coming up right after the break, PM rolls out red carpet for American investors and Rosmah's corruption case verdict on July 7. Right here on TVS Nightline, stay tuned. Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob on Wednesday, May 11, rolled out the red carpet for American investors and businessmen as he presented Malaysia as a preferred investment destination. He welcomed the Fortune 500 companies to invest or increase their investment, namely in the digital economy, green technology, and electric car sectors.
Kita fokus kepada green technology, terutamanya yang melibatkan kereta elektrik dan sebagainya. Dan saya mencadangkan supaya selain daripada kita sudah ada, kita akan mengeluarkan kereta elektrik melalui kerjasama Proton, Geely, Volvo. Saya juga mencadangkan supaya syarikat kereta elektrik daripada Amerika seperti Tesla misalnya membuat pelaburan di Malaysia.
Set up in 1984, the US ABC represents 170 major American businesses in Southeast Asia. Ismail Sabri said he has asked the US ABC to play a bigger role in attracting investment to ASEAN, especially in Malaysia. In a separate session, Ismail Sabri with World Information Technology and Services Alliance Secretary General Dr. James H. Poisson said WITSA would hold the World Congress on Information Technology, the world's largest IT conference, in Penang in September.
Mengharapkan yang Kongres ini akan memberikan manfaat yang lebih kepada rakyat Malaysia, terutamanya dari segi awareness kepentingan teknologi ICT ini.
Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is on a 4-day working visit to the US, during which he would meet with President Joe Biden and ASEAN leaders.
The Health Ministry MOH did confirm that it has received the names of 5 doctors accused of being bullies at the Penang hospital. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the 5 names submitted to the ministry for further action also involved specialist doctors.
Aduan ni biasanya dia akan ambil masa dalam mungkin beberapa minggu sebab dia melibatkan tuduhan yang berat, buli dan juga budaya kerja yang tidak profesional. Jadi ini akan melibatkan sesi temu bual ataupun sesi interview dengan pengadu-pengadu, dengan pakar yang telah dituduh dan sebagainya. Jadi lebih baik kita bagi sedikit masa supaya pasukan petugas dan juga ada 2 pasukan petugas dan juga unit integriti yang biasanya melaksanakan siasatan tata tertib seperti biasa. Jadi kita akan tengok kepada kedua-dua hasil siasatan tersebut sebelum tindakan diambil.
However, he said the 5 doctors had nothing to do with the case of an HPP trainee doctor who died as a result of falling from an apartment in Jalan Datuk Keramat recently. So far, he said no immediate suspension or replacement action has been made against the 5 doctors that are involved.
You cannot simply just transfer. We have to establish first what has taken place. At the moment, apa yang kita melihat sekarang adalah aduan dibuat. Bila aduan dibuat dan kita terus gantung ataupun kita transfer doktor, ada nama yang telah dihantar kepada saya adalah peringkat pakar. Bukan senang untuk kita transfer pakar. Jadi buat masa ni semua bertugas seperti biasa. Cuma siasatan mesti berjalan lah.
Commenting further, Khairi admitted that the MOH is currently receiving many complaints and accusations of the names of doctors and experts allegedly bullying junior doctors. He noted that to serve justice to all parties, the ministry will conduct a transparent process of investigation which will be submitted to him. Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin said the issue of shortage of nurses in hospitals in the country is being addressed in an effort to provide the best health services to the people. In addition, he said he will also try to resolve the issues of nurses with contract status and their post.
Sekarang ini saya nak tolong jururawat pula. Saya cuba yang terbaik macam dengan doktor kontrak. Tak tahu dapat 100% ke tidak, tapi yang penting saya usahakan. Saya cuba. Yang pertama adalah kekurangan jururawat. Yang kedua adalah status jururawat kontrak. Ada seramai 3,469. Yang ketiga yang saya nak juga cuba bantu adalah jururawat yang mempunyai ijazah degree tetapi berada di grade sokongan.
Speaking after officiating the International Nurses Day 2022 event, he acknowledged receiving many complaints regarding the shortage. He said services at the Tunku Azizah Hospital HTA, which is a modern and sophisticated hospital built for women and children in Kuala Lumpur, could not be maximized due to the nurse shortage.
Now, the verdict for 3 corruption charges against Datin Sri Rosmah Mansor involving a hybrid solar project for 369 rural schools in Sarawak will be revealed on July 7th. It will determine whether she will be acquitted or convicted on those charges. This was stated by High Court Judge Muhammad Zaini Mazlan earlier today in Kuala Lumpur.
During the court session, Rosmah, 70, was donning yellow baju kurung, received 2 additional case laws submitted by lead prosecutor Datuk Seri Gopal Sri Ram. Her counsel, Datuk Akbedin Abdul Kader, then requested more time to reply, and Judge Zaini granted the request and requested Akbedin for the reply to be in written submissions. The judge then ensured that he will go through the submissions diligently. Last February 23rd, the defense closed its case after calling 2 witnesses, Rosmah herself and former director of the First Lady of Malaysia Division, Datuk Sri Siti Azizah Sheikh Abod. In 2021, Rosmah was ordered to enter her defense on the 3 charges after the prosecution succeeded in proving a prima facie case against her. She was charged of soliciting 187.5 million ringgit and 2 counts of receiving bribes totaling 6.5 billion ringgit from Jepak Holdings Sendram Berhad Managing Director Saidi Abang Samsudin. The bribes were allegedly received through her former special officer, Dato' Rizal Mansor, as a reward for assisting Jepak Holdings to secure a aforementioned project. The project is worth 1.25 billion ringgit and was acquired through direct negotiation with the Education Ministry.
It is official. Malaysia has been selected to host the 34th Southeast Asian Games in 2027 after a decade.
Olympic Council of Malaysia (OCM) President Tan Sri Muhammad Norzah Zakaria said Malaysia, the decision was agreed unanimously at the Southeast Asian Games Federation (CGF) Council meeting held on Thursday, May 12, following the withdrawal of Brunei, who was supposed to host the 2027 Games. Meanwhile, Malaysia had previously organized the biennial games 6 times in 1965, 1971, 1977, 1989, 2001 and 2017.
Now on to some global updates. Britain's heir to the throne, Prince Charles and Prince William, took centre stage amid the pomp and pageantry of the opening of Parliament on Tuesday, replacing the 96-year-old Queen Elizabeth, who missed the grand set-piece event with health issues. With the Queen forced to withdraw for the first time in almost 60 years, Charles stepped in to read out the government's legislative agenda at the Palace of Westminster, the first time he has taken on such a major constitutional duty.
The Queen, the world's oldest and longest reigning monarch, has been absent from nearly all high-profile public events in recent months. She was forced to miss the speech due to a recurrence of mobility issues. The state opening of Parliament is an event of huge pomp and pageantry, which traditionally sees the Queen travelling to the Assembly in a state coach, escorted by mounted soldiers in ceremonial uniform, while the Imperial state crown and other regalia travel ahead in a carriage of their own.
My Lords and members of the House of Commons, Her Majesty's government's priority is to grow and strengthen the economy and help ease the cost of living for families. Her Majesty's government will level up opportunity in all parts of the country and support more people into work. Her Majesty's ministers will continue to support the police to make the streets safer and fund the National Health Service to reduce the COVID backlogs. In these challenging times, Her Majesty's government will play a leading role in defending democracy and freedom across the world, including continuing to support the people of Ukraine.
The ceremony, which occurs in spring after a national election, embodies the centuries-old separation of power between the Crown, the elected House of Commons, the House of Lords, and the judiciary. Charles, seated beside the Queen's crown and flanked by his eldest son William and his wife Camilla, delivered the speech to lawmakers and lords dressed in red ceremonial robes. In order to authorize Charles and William to carry out the role on her behalf, the Queen had to issue a letters pattern. A palace source said no other functions had been delegated by Elizabeth.
Fashion designer Philip Plain has opened a flagship luxury store in London, accepting payments in cryptocurrencies that changes every 10 minutes. The crypto concept store accepts up to 20 different cryptocurrencies. Additionally, the shop uses QR codes rather than price tags because cryptocurrencies are so volatile and are constantly changing.
It actually all started last year in August because we were the first luxury brand in fashion who started to accept cryptocurrencies online, right? And I was very surprised by the big and surprising, let's say, feedback from the market, because I thought, oh, there's going to be a few freaks who are going to buy, with crypto, but it was completely opposite. Like we did last year 100 million turnover online and 3% was already done with crypto, and we think we can double these numbers this year.
The store has one floor described as the Museum of NFT Art, or MONA, where NFT art collections are on sale and visitors can buy digital art and make bids at auctions.
Some people will buy an NFT in the first place and they get a sculpture on top. Some people buy a sculpture and they get an NFT on top. So it depends how you look at it, right? So we make it very playful for you to start becoming a collector. And this is what we say to the people, what we teach you. If you buy a sneaker, right, you become an owner of the sneaker. But if you can get the sneaker together with an NFT, guess what? You become a collector. And that's the difference. Now you're a collector, not just an owner of a physical sneaker.
The increased turmoil in cryptocurrency values was sparked by a stampede out of so-called stablecoins, knocking nearly 2/3 of the value of Bitcoin since November and more than halving the price of its smaller rival in the last 6 months.
How much does youth utilize technology to develop more products and services through digital innovation? Tune in to Sejahtera Asia at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow, where they will be discussing youth's empowerment through digital innovation, with guest Abang Fairul Shamil Abang Muhammad, the Chief Executive Officer of Calif's Technology Private Limited and manager of the Cebu Digital Innovation Hub. And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For more headlines, head out to our website at TVSTVMY or follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. That's TVSTVMY. I'm Hari Zainuddin. It's been a pleasure.